All right. Little Matthew McConaughey there. Welcome back to the Bro Church podcast. I forgot to turn my fan on. Give me a second. I'm sweating my balls off.
See, that if it was Elden Ring, you would have died.
All right. So
that was great.
Elden
I appreciate the crack.
I have to. Oh, did you see that? I didn't even know I gave you crack. Oh, crack kills, Dave. Why you watching? I'm trying to teach you something.
Bro Church is a highly sophisticated podcast, hosted by highly sophisticated people. If you believe that, I'll tell you another.
Okay, I think we need to just hold on, Dave.
Okay.
Let me wrap my brain around what the fuck's going on right now.
All right.
It is 6:30. Listen. Let's jump. Let's start this over. We're gonna wrap this up in a fucking hour. We're gonna fucking kill it. I'm gonna recap because
let's just do this.
All right, guys, listen. Welcome back to the fucking Bro Church podcast, where I can't seem to get anything fucking working right here. It's okay. We'll survive. I'm obviously not going to cut out the shit that we started with, but what I'm trying to say is today, sometimes you got to roll with the punches. We have a themed podcast today, and for whatever reason, the gods just don't want us to finish it, but we're going to fucking finish it. We're going to knock it out the fucking park. That's the Dave sitting over there.
What up?
Patiently waiting. I'm Felix. This is Bro Church. Today's theme podcast is a take two, ladies and gentlemen. We tried this 10 minutes ago, and we had about 15 minutes of content. Anyway, okay, I'm going to wrap us up here and catch us up here, Dave. What we're talking about today is video games, and a lot of people that are listening are going to be like, what the fuck are you guys talking about video games for? Well, that's because Dave's a good gamer. I used to be a good gamer. Our kids are fucking gamers.
Yep.
But not only that, not only do we love video games or we have a pastime with video games like most American or not even American, just people of our generation around the world. We are also understanding that the dynamics and the playing field of what we're trying to do with the media and the podcast is changing. The landscape's changing. Twitch is predominantly for gamers, but we're trying to get this podcast on there. And I'm going to be looking into it, and you're going to be looking into it. We're going to be trying to build a community there. But you and I have been building a universe with the Bro Church universe, and we'll get into that in another topic in another episode. But I bring that up because watching people stream, like with this Grand Theft Auto,
yes,
Grand Theft Auto 5 comes out in 2013, and it still has an online presence that people have continued to play. But not only that, there's a role-playing world in this universe,
and it's
where
actually
people
GTA
are playing.
6.
Is it did that game already come out?
No.
That's what I mean. It's Grand Theft Auto 5 that people are still using that online universe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
It's 10 years, 11 years, which is fucking bananas. And the fact that, when I remember when gaming started going online and you could start getting downloadable content, DLCs, and it was kind of like, I don't know, I don't really like this. Now it's just normal. Like, there is no physical disc, really. They're still there, but people are gaming online. Can you imagine a Bro Church universe in a Grand Theft Auto online? The servers would be fucking bananas. Like, we're going to stream that shit on Twitch. Like, there's shit like that I'm thinking about. Do you play online? Do you play gaming online?
Yeah, when I get a chance, I do try to play gaming online. After a while, when I get a 10-year-old calling me a fuck knuckle because I end up killing them, then I start getting mad.
Fuck that 10-year-old.
Then I'm like, I will fight you.
And they're so good. You're like, yo, you guys are really fucking good.
Like, seriously, dude. Like, before, when my kids were young, they'd play, and I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, all right, cool. I got you. But like, I lose on purpose. I'm like, hey, I'm the dad. Don't worry, I'll lose on purpose, buddy. Oh, you got me. Ha ha. Now it's like, you little shit. You got me twice. I haven't won a game yet. This is bullshit.
Dude, when I got divorced and I was living in the Soilo's basement, my friend Soilo's basement for like 5 months, I remember playing my son online on Halo. And he was 6 going on 7.
Mm.
And he's whooping my ass. And I'm like, first of all, I don't know what I'm doing. But the fact that he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
At 6 and 7, I'm like, you were just playing the Simpsons game a year or two ago.
Yep.
I introduced you to video games through the Simpson game. And thinking back, like that was 10, 11 years online gaming, more than that, we can say probably, I guess, 10 to 15 years now, online gaming. But you're right. You're playing, you don't know who you're playing with. Half the time it could be a kid that's spanking you. And me, my ego gets in the way of that. But nonetheless, I was never good at playing online. I'm a slow gamer. I like to take my time. I like we were just talking about it earlier, role-playing games. I like storytelling. You had mentioned Elden Ring before we had our shenanigans. And I know of the game. I never got into games like that. Probably because I was never really interested in the genre of the. That's what is that like? Fantasy,
like a fantasy, like a outer world fantasy type thing, like medieval, ghosts, death, all that shit, fantasy type game. I mean, it's deep with lore, stories, like it's deep with it anywhere you go in the game, which is for me is the attractive part of the game. And if you really, really enjoy losing, that's a great game for you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because you were mentioning you die right away.
You pretty much like you're not gonna right off beat the game. Like how back in the day sometimes you have a winning streak and you start getting through and you get just about to the end of the boss. And you're like, I'm doing great. Nah, not this one, not this game. You pick up a blade of grass and you die. So it's that's pretty much it. So you have to like losing, and you have to like lore. You have to like fantasy games, but mainly you gotta like losing, because
do you play games on like a hard level or a regular or easy?
I go normal because why? Right. Why would I want to go harder? For it? Because no, I'm trying not to punch the TV. But
there's people that like, and listen. This is me not knocking anybody, because if I had the time to do it, I think I would. But there's people that dedicate their time to gaming.
Oh, and
they'll beat the game, and then they're like, I'm going back and I'm playing it again on extreme difficulty.
Gabi will go back and you know how they have trophies now on Xbox.
Yeah, get all the trophies.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna get platinum now, Dad. I'm like, that's great. Time for a chop.
It's like that. What I actually get into, like the planning and the methodical awareness of the game.
Yeah,
I just don't have the time. I mean, you're talking about hours upon hours.
I remember you're really into that game called Cities, where you would build that whole
I was building cities.
Thing. Like you were into that. Literally, like this is how the traffic is going to flow here, and this is where I'm going to put my power station.
I'm such a nerd. Dude, and I'm like, you know what I would do too? I would actually Google like how cities and municipalities like structured their, like, if I put a roundabout here, how will this increase the traffic flow?
You're freaking calling city contractors. Excuse me, I have a question. Do you happen to have a meeting on Friday? Because we need to get together. I need to know what a layout is for this game.
But it's so like that's me. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I get immersed. That's why I have no problem with gamers gaming, because you get lost in it. And it's like, you know what? Let me just get lost in the storytelling and in this imaginary world. And the next thing you know, 8 hours goes by like that. And you're like, yeah, I didn't eat anything. And it's harder when you have a family, because, it's kind of like this window of like, I've been home all day and now the children are coming home from school.
Oh yeah,
like, you're robbing me. You're disturbing me. You're taking me out of this world.
Yeah,
I can't straddle the fence, feed on both worlds. Like, you respect the fact that I'm not here right now.
What's great is you're trying to spend time with the family. You're trying, like you said it perfectly. Gaming takes you out of the real world for at least enough time for you to regain your senses. But Ronnie's like, oh, we got to spend more time together. We got to talk. We got to hang out more. You've been doing this. You've been doing that. And frankly, I've been busy like a motherfucker. So I've been setting my game time late at night when everybody falls asleep. So after we're hanging out, I'm like, oh, all right, and I see you're dozing off. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
sleep.
It's time.
So, is it time? So, I'm like,
I remember doing that when I was younger, dude. Like, there's times, I remember there would be times where, so I used to play wrestling video games, and I would just take time creating like celebrities. I would create my friends. Yeah. And I would record it on VHS. Like, I'd have a Royal Rumble, but I would sit there and I'd be like, who can I create? And I'm like, I'm trying to create this particular person, but there's nothing in the game that allows me to create it. You need to like rig, like you need to overlap certain elements and objects to create a shape and I'm like, I can do this and I can do that. And they're like, are you listening? Where are you at right now? And I'm like, yes. You start planning things.
Yes.
And I can I go back to the Brochurch universe because that's where I've been at. Like, my brain has been like,
you're creating.
Like, what I want to do, the technology isn't at my disposal right now. But can you imagine when we were to have the ability to like have an open world of Brochurch, and people can interact online with other friends, but the characters, and they can also like, the stories that we're trying to implement and stuff like that. So video gaming, like, there's so many different arms.
Yeah.
It isn't just joystick and TV. And now, like, it's
a
just,
social
it's
thing.
an open, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the best part is, what's funny is how we came full circle on the whole gaming industry, because now digital pixel games are being popular. Like, I don't know if you've heard this game called Broforce, which freaking cracks. Oh yeah, it's called Broforce, and it's actually a freaking awesome game. It was made by I want to say it was made by a South African team, but it's all American. It's like full blast. Every American movie hero that you can think of is in that game. Like Rambo, Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger. They got Van Damme. They have the Predator. They have MacGyver, Indiana Jones, Blade, The Matrix, the Boondock Saints. Remember them?
Yeah.
They have all these characters, but they put bro in front of it. So, for the Terminator, they put Brominator, or for Rambo,
so
they
for
put Rambo.
Okay, I got you.
But it's such a freaking awesome game, and it is what you expect from a game with all 80s action hero. It was nothing but explosions and destruction, but it's so hilarious how they do things, and it's been very popular game. So I'm like, yes, that's gonna be the kicker right there, Broforce.
I feel like people that I feel like the majority of people that play video games are creatives in a way. I think even if you just like to play games, but you're not really creating, you can appreciate the creative mindset.
Yeah.
Because it kind of like, I liken it to like people that started creating comic books and the universes that were created just through the storytelling on that realm. So video games to me, obviously everything needs to have a healthy You need to have a healthy approach to things. You can't just divulge and indulge. You need to have a healthy mindset. But I don't ever see anything wrong with gaming. I can listen. When we get into the Bro Church universe episode, like people are really gonna see how nerdy I am, dude. Because I have like, you even like, I even asked you to get a bio starter for these characters, and we already have like scenarios in mind.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Can you imagine, like, I keep going back to the role playing that I'm watching on TikTok with these people pretending that they're cops, pretending that they're in MCs, pretending that they're bikers or gang members, but they live this storytelling life, and it's fun.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, can you imagine? So nonetheless, I did want to get into, you brought up one of the topics that you wanted to bring up with the video game theme is Warhammer, which I know nothing about. And I heard you and Ish talking about it in the family reunion. I know D&D was brought up in that conversation.
Oh,
is
yeah.
It like D&D? Like, is it that same type of
It is
gameplay?
a world on its own. Warhammer, blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throw. Yes! That is the age of Warhammer. We're in the grim, dark future. There is only war. That's Warhammer.
Oh my God! It's
It
like
is
you were
like
sitting on that one.
everything, like everything you can think of badass war, fantasy. Anything you can think of, cranked up to 11, dude.
Okay.
It is, yeah. And they even have like miniature figures. Look, I bought show and tell. I painted these.
Okay.
See that?
You
Ooh, look at
okay?
that.
You painted that. Hold it
Yeah,
still
yeah.
for me. So, bring it center of the screen, dude.
See right
of the
there.
camera. There you go. So, what character do we have there?
That's an Ultramarine right there. He's one of the commanders in the Ultramarines, and what you have different factions. So what it is there's different races, different factions you can play in this game, and you build an army, and in this army you battle against other people. Like this is right here is the Necron warriors right here. See, I'm nerding out. But I painted these. So you actually build these models and you paint them.
Okay.
So you put it on the tabletop, and you literally, this is not digital gaming. This is tabletop gaming, which is a whole nother franchise. And you set them on the table, and then you just, go by points. So each army goes from 500 points to like even 10,000 points. And you just start fighting each other on these games with dices and the play mat and rulers. And it's a very hard game to get into, but once you're in it, you are in it, dude. And it is truly a hobby because you're painting figures, you're painting terrain. Like these are terrains you kind of lay out.
That's
and
cool.
That's all painted. You know what I mean?
And
So-
you painted that?
Yeah.
Now, when you're painting it, are you painting it like because you know how you've seen it and you're trying to
Both.
replicate it? Or are you
It's-
trying to just give it your own style?
Yeah, it's both. It's both. When you want to create, like, that's the best part about these armies is you have kind of like a guideline to paint these, but you also want to make it your own. That way, people know that this is your army. This is your Ultramarines army, or your Necron army, or your Tyranid armies. This is yours because you choose the colors, you choose the designs, and it is a deep dive into this. They have like actual terrain like rocks, grass, things that you can put on these bases to look authentic,
On the
and
base
real.
of the characters.
Yeah.
Are you placing them like on do they have like an actual, like you can put them on display and have an actual scene?
Yeah.
That's
They
awesome.
called oh god, see now the word escapes me, but they have like many scenes where you can display them. If you YouTube it, you'll see like a lot of Warhammer scenes played, and man, you want to talk about a deep dive on what these people do. It's amazing. You want to talk about creativity?
Yeah.
Holy shit, man. They'll take like cotton and make it like explosion and put LED lights in it for it like there was an explosion inside of it.
Oh, are you
on-
talking
on-
about a physical replication of? Oh,
Replicate
wow.
like mini
And people get creative though. This is kinda
dioramas.
like
There it is. That's the word I'm looking
dioramas.
for.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And it is freaking insane on what they do with this. So now they have, years ago, they brought the universe on PlayStation called Warhammer 40K, and
Okay.
it took off. It hit, and it was a very popular game. And then after a while, it kind of went away to the wayside. And I think they've been working on it, and now they're coming out with the new version, upgrade of course, following the story of the previous 40K storyline of the game, and it is just insane, dude. From what I've seen on clips and what I've seen on gameplay on YouTube, it is truly insane. So I'm really excited for that to come out. It's just what you expect.
Talk to me about and I want to ask you this because you're heavy into it. This is something that I've never understood, and this is probably why I always leaned away from these type of games. But they're like these bizarre looking creatures, and it's almost like what style of game are we? Is that the fantasy part where it's just like these bizarre look?
Yeah.
Sometimes I just can't follow what's going on half the time. I feel like everything's so busy.
The thing with Warhammer is that you can actually follow, the army or the species that you pick. Like, for instance, if you pick, there's a species called the Tyranids or the Plague Marines. Let's go off the Plague Marine. Yeah. Or the Chaos Gods. Like, you pick the Chaos Gods, and there's Slanesh. There's
we were just getting good, Dave. Do you hear me? If
Yeah.
you hear me, I can't see you. I can't hear you, brother.
Is it going away?
Damn it. Damn.
Oh, no.
Damn. Dave. Okay. I'm going to wait, Dave. Waiting for you.
I swear.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It looked like my internet just took a shit.
Dude, I feel like what we're doing is going against the
I think what
grain,
it is,
whatever.
I think the Chaos Gods is coming against us.
Whatever we're doing, people don't want us to do, but we're
We're gonna fucking finish this.
We're gonna fucking finish it, dude. I'm sitting here trying to remember what you were getting into something, and I can't remember. What was it?
It was Warhammer tabletop games. I was talking about the faction.
Okay, yeah.
And then you were saying
Yes.
about how people how you get lost in some of the creatures and it gets too much.
Oh yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
is that you were explaining to me the weird creatures and
Yeah. So going back to that, like I was saying, you can't get lost with Warhammer because they do such a good job with explaining it, that you can follow the storyline and keep track. Now, if you want to create your own army and kind of veer off the storyline, that's your choice, or stick to what they have on. They have these books called the Codex, and in the
Okay.
Codex it explains everything and anything you need to know about your army. So, for instance, I want to get into the army of salamanders. They're green ultramarines, but they're, kind of more compassionate in regards to their counterparts. So you follow, you buy the book, the Codex, and you read up on it. And it goes from their history, from when they were created, who their Primarch is, and who their leaders are. And it just goes step by step, where you can actually follow and continue on with building your army. So now that you know so much about your army, you can add, as you're painting, more details, things that you want to add to it, And like I said, when I paint these models before gaming, dude, it takes me away. I put the music on, and all I do is just sit there for hours and just paint. And it's just like gaming. I just completely forget about the world.
And I would think then also, and even though I can't understand the actual characters, I do understand like the creation part and the universe and the storytelling. I would think then also when somebody else who is in the same type of mindset recognizes hypothetical, you have a party, people come over, somebody sees your shit, and they're like, whoa.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, I noticed that you've used this. There's like a community that kind of starts to come together, and that's cool, man.
And what's cool about it is you don't know who's a Warhammer head. You have no idea. Like, they'll come through and say something about, Nurgle or the Plague Marines, or Slanesh. They'll say something about that, and you're like, what? Did you just say?
Well, Ish brought it up at the reunion.
Yeah, I was like,
whoa.
You said Warhammer? That's what I'm talking about. Because it's a tight knit community, and once you're in, and you meet somebody else who likes Warhammer, it's automatic, dude. You hit it up. You're like, yep, you're my new best friend.
That's cool.
It's like automatic.
Cool, man. I think like I like what we're doing right now, because I feel like people who aren't into that, if they would understand or take the time, they could probably find some aspects that they can relate to. Like, that's what's happening to me right now. So I think that's pretty cool. So Warhammer is a tabletop game, but it's also transitioned into
the video game. Yes.
And so are there diehard fans that are like, this was a tabletop game only? Like, did it start as a tabletop game?
Yes, it started as a tabletop game. It wasn't called Warhammer before. It was, I forget what it was called, but it did. It always started off as a tabletop game. Kind of piggybacked off of Dungeons and Dragons, but it developed in its own genre. It actually, I don't want to say piggyback, but yeah, it got elements of Dungeons and Dragons, but believe it or not, it's more of a war gaming table. Because back in the day, they used to have these soldiers and from World War I, World War II, and they would have these figures of military personnel on tabletop games. So it wasn't Warhammer; it was just a regular war game, and a lot of people enjoyed that. They enjoyed moving these figures, being tactical, seeing what they can do, but it was something tangible, something physical that they can push around and really develop this like war plan tactical game and spend hours on it, and they lay out this table, and after a while they're like, we need more detail on this table. I need trees over here. I need a mountain over here,
So there's actual props on the table?
It's amazing. The dioramas that these people create are fucking amazing.
But these are dioramas on the gameplay during the gameplay.
Yes. So for instance, like this right here is part of the diorama. So I will have buildings like this on the table. So now these figures can either stand in front of it, stand on top. They'll sit up here. As a tactical point to look down, or even on the inside. Because you got to paint in detail, so they'll stand on the inside for cover.
You're painting on the inside.
Yeah, that's how detailed it is, dude. That's what I mean. You paint on top, inside.
So I guess the bigger the table, the better.
Yeah, I mean, look at it. Like you get real detailed with like even the skull and stuff. Even the grates and everything. So yeah, the bigger the table, the bigger the army. Shit, you can even have an army of 20 and use a big ass table, and that's a long game, but it's a pretty damn tactical game that you can have. And there's tanks, there's aerial vehicles, there's giant titans that can come through. Like it's insane, dude.
And I'm assuming if the game never ends. How does that work? Like when it comes to D&D or games like Warhammer, does the game ever truly end?
Yeah, you have a point system. So some people can start at 500 points or start at 200 points. It doesn't matter, depending on the size of your army. So when they say, "Hey, I have a 200 point army," you can think that maybe they have 20 characters in their team, but when you got if you're playing up against a buddy who says, "Yeah, I got my army up to 2,000 points," that means they got a pretty hefty sized army with, dreadnoughts, with giant, with tanks. So you're thinking like, "Oh shit, I'm up against this guy. I'm going to need to beef up my army." So you guys go up against each other, and whoever's points are depleted down to 0 is the loser. So if I take down your dreadnought, that could be 120 points, or that could be even,
how's that determined? Rolling
through the
of the
codex.
dice?
Well, there's rolling of the dice, and
okay.
honestly, the point system is determined off, who you're playing with. You guys kind of come to an understanding of like, hey, let's set the points to 1,000 or set the points to 500. But you try to go off of what your army's built, but a lot of times it's like, how much time do we have to play?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But that's the point I'm trying to get to, where this isn't something like, hey, we got 20 minutes, let's bang out a game of Warhammer. This is hours.
If you have a small freaking army, yeah, you probably could bang something out in like 20 minutes, but whoever wants to bang something out for 20 minutes, it's not really good, right?
Right. That's what that.
You want to take your time on this, baby.
I think I get that much.
Because if you bang something out for 20 minutes, I'll just roll over and be like, what was that?
I think I can appreciate this more now. Like actually, because I would watch you and the boys and Caden play. You weren't playing Warhammer though. You would be playing Dungeons and Dragons, if I'm correct. And I can appreciate the storytelling of it. And I guess I never really took the time to really understand it, because board games for me across the board, no pun intended. Across the board, I hate board games. I shouldn't say I hate them. I'm not a big board game person. So like my wife's like, let's play board games with the kids. Right away I'm like, oh my God, Monopoly. But I will admit, if I have a sense that everybody is all in, then I take it seriously. So with that in mind, I can understand the respect that people have for something like this. Like, listen, it's understood that this is make believe and it's a story and it's a game, but it's an escape. It's a way to engage in storytelling and have fun with it,
dude.
I work with guys that play D&D after work. And now it kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah, it's a chance to get away, and a lot of times too, we've I don't want to say we burned out the gaming candle in regards to digital gaming, but it's gotten like, okay,
it's full cycle, dude.
It's still good.
It always comes back around.
Yeah, it's still good. I'm not saying it's lukewarm, but it's there. It's a hot cup of coffee, but people always want something new, something different, and tabletop gaming has become a whole new genre of gaming, because it takes us away from the TV. It gets us more active with people. You can be more social. Even if you're antisocial, you can become this character and pretend that you're social. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But even like I said, even if you Google tabletop gaming, the stuff that's out there, man. Like, believe it or not, like games right now are moving to tabletop gaming. Like, for instance, Warhammer is one of them, obviously. But another one is Dying Light. Dying Light went from...
Oh, that's going to tabletop now?
It is already. Now it's a tabletop game with 3D.
I remember when that started. See, now wait a minute. I'm
a
little bit involved.
But now
I actually played the first one.
But now it's a tabletop game with 3D buildings and actual, like characters like this, that you can paint on your own. Even movies are turning into tabletop games. Like they have, remember the movie The Thing? There's a tabletop game for that. Evil Dead.
Okay.
There's a tabletop game for that. Movies.
So that's only because there's a community that will embrace
community.
It.
Yes.
So what we need then is a community that will embrace the Bro Church.
Oh, dude, if we come up with a Bro Church tabletop board games, it'd be a fucking mess. And the people fighting. There'll be a section there. You know how Monopoly get out of jail free card? No, you're literally going to go to jail. The cops are at your door.
The Bro Church tabletop game will just be so fucking excellent, dude. It's going to be everything.
Remember the figures that you have for Monopoly? It'd be a shoe or a car. This would be like a schlong. A drunk guy.
It'd be a drunk guy throwing up on the side in an alleyway. No, but I appreciate that, man. I think like another thing that this does too, dude, is it keeps guys safe at home.
Oh yeah.
If women listen, and I'm not saying all women because I know there's a lot of women that game, and there's a lot of women that are into this as well.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, listen, it keeps y'all behaving because you're home.
Yeah, you're not out drinking.
You're. I mean, maybe you are drinking, but you're playing D&D
You're
while you're
home.
drinking.
Yeah.
You are safe. Here's the thing, dude, is I do fantasy football. I understand this lore of.
See, there it is.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Every year we get together. We do this fake draft. We have these fake teams.
Yep.
I create these fake logos. Money's involved, but we're not really team owners, but we are.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I get it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think what I'm saying
That's literally
is
it.
much props and love to the gaming and the tabletop gaming world. Dave has given me a new insight. Thank you. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
You're not sitting there but like, yeah, my team. I own this team. You actually own your team in tabletop gaming. You actually own it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, you're not sitting there, oh, this fucking guy, you know. Why did I give him the contract?
As I give props, Dave shits on me.
I fucking love it. Guy's sitting there. You're that fucking guy over there as you're eating.
Hey, Dave, real quick, when it comes to Warhammer, what is the 40K gaming? What is because I looked it up and I noticed it is, I thought you meant 4K.
No,
it's indeed 40K.
Yeah.
What is the 40K?
So you're talking about what is Warhammer 40K? Or Warhammer 40K the game, because the Warhammer 40K the game is based off of the tabletop game. And it follows one of the Ultramarines commander and their storyline. So it's just like a third person shooter type, all mayhem, all Warhammer, and it's just freaking insane. So I would highly suggest if you haven't seen it, take a look at the trailer and see for yourself what I'm talking about. Now, as far as Warhammer 40K, that is the era that this takes place. There's Warhammer and there's Warhammer 40K. So they call it Warhammer 10K or where back then in the Warhammer franchise, it's more fantasy-ish, more like, wizards and dragons and orcs and all that. Now, granted, they do have that in the 40K universe, but it's more technology. It's the Adeptus Mechanicus. They're kind of like augmented cyborgs that they change their bodies into machines. You know what I mean? So it's more futuristic versus medieval fantasy. So that's what the 40K stands for. It's 40,000 years after the first Warhammer.
Okay.
So yeah.
So there's a lot of time in this.
Yeah,
universe.
yeah. No, the freaking stories in between. It's amazing. I would literally have this guy on YouTube called Wes Hammer. Man, if whoever's listening is into Warhammer, you gotta check this guy out. It's called Wes Hammer. W-E-S.
Wes Hammer.
Yep. W-E-S Hammer. And this
what does
guy
he do?
breaks it down. You want to talk about deep dive? This guy breaks it down to the point that you can understand the lore, the story, and just everything that it's in regards to Warhammer. And he does it so freaking well that you're just captivated. I listen to this guy every morning before I go to work for a half hour. What are you doing?
I don't know what I'm doing here, dude. I'm trying to get the light out of my eye. Sorry.
So I
You
listen
to this guy every fucking day.
Oh, there you go. So I listen to this guy every morning religiously to go to work.
It's a podcast or it's a YouTube channel?
It's a YouTube channel, yeah. And he talks about the story of Warhammer. He talks about a lot of the inline story, the lore. He explains what each chaos gods, who they are. It's a deep dive, basically. When I say deep dive, he literally explains everything that you need to know about, anything Warhammer. And he does it he does a great job at it. And a lot of times he even say there's a lot of stories that he'll tell, like, mystery stories or ghost stories in the 40K universe. As the character. So you can imagine how far this this universe can go. So, but yeah, that's tabletop and that's 40K, man.
I think it's pretty damn fucking cool. Much props to the gamers out there, ladies. If your guy's gaming, tabletop gaming, let him do his thing.
Or join
He's
him.
behaving. Or join him.
That's one of the best
for
things
you,
ever.
fellas.
I'm telling you, when you got your
if you got a lady,
yeah, just join.
If you got a lady that likes that shit, let her be.
Yeah,
let her be. She'll put her booty shorts on and she'll sit there.
Yeah,
and she'll play with, and that's fine.
I'm
that's
telling
good.
you, and you can even find a tabletop game that she might enjoy and that might fit both of you together, and you guys can have a gaming night.
I need to think about this because now I need to look at some tabletop games.
You should. I'm telling you.
Let's wrap this up because I know with everything going on in and out, it's going on 7:30. I don't want to hold you up, but let's end real quick with, we mentioned it a little bit, Grand Theft Auto 6.
Yes.
I don't have offhand here this fucking cursor. Who set this system up that I'm using
More
right now?
technical difficulties.
I want to bring the release date up for Grand Theft Auto 6. Like I mentioned, in 2013, Grand Theft Auto 5. Okay, so we're now looking at Grand Theft Auto 6 for another year.
Oh, yeah, it's going to take forever, dude.
Yeah, autumn of 2025. I know PlayStation 6 is about to be released.
Damn.
And yeah. And I'm not sure if by that point Xbox will have another console. I can't imagine. But because it was really soon for PlayStation. They just came out with PlayStation 5.
We just haven't broken into PlayStation 5.
Right. But listen, I remember Grand Theft Auto 3 kind of changing the landscape of how open world games were played on a video game. It was so new.
Yeah.
We're so used to it now because of Grand Theft Auto, and we expect other games to kind of give you the same experience. So what Grand Theft Auto 5 did, and I'm going back to what we talked about, for the past 10, 11 years now, Grand Theft Auto allowed a universe to be created online. Same thing with Red Dead Redemption. Rockstar is so, they're just so on it.
I wish they would have done more with Red Dead Redemption, the new
one. The second one?
Yeah. Because
they had that zombie one in Red Dead Redemption 1.
Dude.
And I love that
one.
Dude,
I wish they would.
That was like a whole other game.
Like, seriously. They kind of, in my opinion, they kind of just gave up on the game because they were trying so hard to keep the Grand Theft Auto servers up that they just kind of let Red Dead Redemption Online out, man. Dude, me and my buddy would play for hours on there. We had a whole like gang going on. And it was just like they just kind of like gave up on it.
You don't see it. You don't see many people experiencing that universe as much as they do the Grand Theft Auto still.
No, I mean, for a minute there, dude, it was the hottest thing out there, and then only because Rockstar just kind of was like, all right, we got to focus on our baby. So they kind of let this one to starve and then just focus on Grand Theft Auto that's been out for like God knows how long. And it's a shame because, Red Dead is a really, really great fucking game, dude. And
it's phenomenal.
They were sitting on the gold mine with Red Dead Undead, and it just never happened. They did a taste of it on the online server for Halloween one time, and that took off. That pretty much shut down the servers. But then that's it. They just like, okay, well, we'll just let this ride. So they just let the boat float with no direction. So I wish they would go back and just freaking go ham on Red Dead, but it is what it is.
I think what would be cool in my mind when it comes to a universe is a Red Dead Redemption that is in real time, current time, that is in the same universe as Grand Theft Auto, that the online universe brings them all together.
That would be cool.
Because when you play Grand Theft Auto, as beautiful and dope as it is, there isn't a Western, a country lifestyle. If I'm wrong, please, anybody can correct me, because as I've stated earlier, I haven't done this in a while. I haven't played in a while. But I don't see that on Grand Theft Auto. It's very much different, fast-paced gaming experience, a lifestyle, a role-playing experience. But that would be cool if you had, like, in the universe, in the game, it took you 10 minutes to get to this other part of the state or the universe where this country is. Yeah, you know, and it's real-time Red Dead Redemption. That, I think then, to add to your point, I think it would bring people, because Red Dead Redemption is a acquired taste, though it's a very broad and a lot of people loved it. It was a very acquired taste, where Grand Theft Auto was an open book to like so many different types of tastes. Yeah, that is true. That's what I think. I think that would be cool, man. I think, like I said, Grand Theft Auto is unless another universe steps up. You know, I'm watching these people on TikTok, and I'm learning like the servers that they're using and the universes that they're creating. And these TikTokers are like, "Hey, we could use some more. We could use some more these type of gangs. We could use some," and they let people into their universe, and there's an understanding. Yeah. And I'm like, man, if Bro Church were to do that, that would be so fucking bad. Yeah, but if you're coming in our game, you get blooded in. It's blood in, blood out, man. Yeah, well, no, 1,000%. We'll come over and beat the shit out of you. Just so you can join our Grand Theft Auto gang. You get beat in. We take shit to the limit, man. We don't fuck around. And then when we're done beating you up, we're like, thank you for your support. Yeah, welcome. Subscribe. Subscribe. I think we have way more shit to get into with this topic of conversation. Obviously, this is the first that Dave and I are doing this with our podcast, because there was no trending topics today. And there's a couple of things we could have gotten into, but I do like switching it up, having a themed, and I'm trying to pay attention to the demographic that are following us. And we do have a bunch of dudes and brosifs that are out there that like this type of shit. And so I'm like, you know what? Let's fucking flip the script and give them what they want. We'll keep doing this shit, Dave. Yeah, hell yeah, man. Like I said, I can talk about tabletop game all day, man. Okay. Well, don't do that, because I don't have all day to listen to. Now you sound like my wife. Okay. Oh, that's original. Look, I'm married once, man. I don't need to do it again. I don't need another wife. I'm good. All right, well, let me let you go, dude. Dave's got to get some sleep. We are out of here. Dave, is there anything you would like to depart with before I shut down? Just remember, this recording. Blood for the blood god. Skulls for the skull throne. Yeah. What he said. That's the Dave. I'm Felix. I'm not that cool. I'm not that cool. Y'all be safe. Hi. Hey, Bro Church fam, go fuck yourself. We love you. Yay. Bye.